Hello, everybody. Time for rant time. I repeat myself. It's raining and heavily snowing at the same time out here. But today we'll go talk about what I was talking about, or what I posted earlier. What I was going to talk about is basically subsidies for the poor, i.e., housing, education, food, that sort of thing, and what I think about it and stuff. I'll supply facts where I can. I won't have the links or anything like that on here, but I'll tell you where I found it and stuff like that, or the best I can, and then my own opinions on what's going on with it and stuff. Let's start out with what I consider the most important thing is healthcare. And most people are polarized about which side they're on. Either you're totally for it and everybody should have health care, or you're like, no, lazy bums, they shouldn't be able to just get stuff for free. I'm in the middle, but lean to the left on that one. And I'll explain. Healthcare should be available, at least minimal health care, which is like where you get to go see your doctor, on a, however it is, usually every 3 months they say, okay, go see your doctor every 3 months to keep up and everything like that. Emergency room visits, and they have to be genuine emergency room visits, not like, I've seen many people just go to the emergency room just so they can get off the street and everything like that, which that'll be talked about shortly with the housing thing. But there should be some oversight on the medical and stuff like that. It shouldn't just be a blanket cover every freaking thing that you possibly can think of and stuff like that. There are many people out there that are unable to work and should be covered as far as healthcare goes. I'm not talking about healthy people or anything like that. I'm talking about unfortunately, I'm under this one here. It's like I'm unable to work because of certain physical limitations, diabetes, muscle disorder, multiple things to look at. And I'm not going with the whole poor me and everything like that. But as far as everybody's concerned, people should be covered to the extent that they should be covered, kind of thing. People shouldn't be forced to have health care per like the Obamacare thing was, where it's like if you don't get it, you're going to be fined thousands of dollars. And I don't know, if you're in between jobs or like that, there's reasons for it. There's multiple reasons why you're unable to get it at this particular time or something like that. Most health coverage, there's usually a huge copay, which is crazy for some people, where they're paying sometimes up to a quarter of their income per year covering their medical, which is just way crazy. I don't even understand that. So with that, there's like insurance issues and everything like that that are a reason for the sky high prices. The pharmaceuticals are freaking sky high. I think we should be more into the preventative as far as healthcare goes, and promoting that. And I'm okay with actually paying for preventative, healthcare. Like a gym membership. And yes, you have to show that you're actually going to the gym membership and not just like, most gym memberships you have to check in at the door and stuff like that with a card key or something like that, so you can actually show that you're actually going and physically doing what you need to do to keep yourself healthy. Like I said, there's many things that we have to look at and stuff like that, but just like the Bernie Sanders blanket one, where it's like, okay, we're going to cover everybody, and it's going to cost $42 trillion freaking dollars to do this, but we can do it. And it's like, are you crazy? No. You have to look at everything on this. When it comes to healthcare, you have to look at all your options and not just blanket it out there. The cost is astronomical if you blanket it like that. There's certain procedures that shouldn't be covered under medical, that should be out of your own pocket. Like, hey, guess what? I want a facelift. That's not a medically needed procedure. If you want it, you pay for it. There are certain things like if you're scarred from an accident or a burn or something like that, and it helps basically, it helps your life a little bit better. And in this society, so like that, I can understand healthcare being covered under that. But you have to look at all the options, and neither side wants to look at all the possible options that we can do. It's crazy. We're at the bottom of the list when it comes to healthcare in the industrialized world, and but neither side is willing to move one way or the other on helping. Okay, off of healthcare. Now let's go to housing. I think general housing for everybody should be on the list, and it's been proven in Utah and a few other places that if you put people in a home, it's less than half the cost on some places. Some places maybe a little more, but half the cost to put them in a house or some kind of room and board kind of thing than to keep them on the street. That's because they tend to go to shelters which cost more, tend to cost more in police overtime because they're sitting there harassing the homeless people. To clean up on it in homeless places, we're out in the woods and stuff. The cleanup costs there. And a lot of times they go to the ER costing sometimes thousands of dollars just to get out of the cold. Crazy. There's some ideas I have. I don't have all the answers, but some ideas I have. Tiny homes is and I don't mean like tiny homes like 400 square foot or anything like that. I'm going with the micro tiny homes, which is usually, less than 200 square feet. It's a small home built for one or two people, and there should be to be able to get in there, you should have to qualify and follow the rules, stuff like that. There's going to be people out there that don't want to follow the rules, don't want to get into housing, stuff like that. And there's really nothing the left can do except to say, oh, well, we got some food. If you want a little bit of shelter, here you go, here it is. Nothing we can really do about it on that part. But the people that there's lots of people out there that would love to just have like a tiny house, something, not necessarily to call their own, but if it gets them out of the cold, say there's a communal shower or something like that they can have somewhere to wash their clothes and wash themselves, keep cleaning, keep everything like that. It gives a little bit of dignity to them, where they tend to work a little bit harder to get a job, tend to work a little bit harder to get out of the situation they are, and it's overall good for everybody. So I don't see an issue with that. If you look at the cost ratio from putting people in a house or a tiny home or whatever to leaving them on the street, you save tons of money. And I don't understand why anybody doesn't want to save money doing that. It's crazy why you wouldn't. I don't understand. Again, if you're in one of these things, there would be rules. It's like going, yes, you need to be looking for work or at least volunteering somewhere. You have to keep the area cleaned up and stuff like that. There's rules, like everybody else has rules and stuff. They have to have rules too, just the way it is. But I don't see an issue with it. I don't think someone deserves necessarily a mansion, like, oh, here's a 15,000 square foot mansion. It's yours all for free. No. You know what? I'm happy in literally less than 200 square feet. It keeps my stuff dry. I don't get I'm trying to be a minimalist. I don't like having lots of stuff. So under 200 square feet, I'm happy. I'm going to build a little 200 square foot house for me and my wife when she gets here. And our son, Marks, we're going to, I don't see the problem. Don't. But that's that, it's just a little bit easier that way. And along with that healthcare thing, a little house keeps people healthy and stuff like that. Keeps them from dying, from pneumonia or colds or simple little things that they shouldn't be dying of. And the dignity part of it. People, give people dignity. It's amazing what people will do. Okay, off of housing, let's go to food. It's a main thing for what people need to survive is food. Food and water are the two main things. I'm not saying necessarily free food, but they have community gardens that every city can do. There's always a piece of property where you can do a community garden. People can work for their food. Show them how to garden. Show them what they need to do to make the food themselves. Cities, there's some cities around the world, and even here in America, where they plant fruit trees around the city. Free food, basically, for anybody that's hungry along the way and stuff like that. Don't see a problem with that, There has to be some guidance on this, because there are some people, I think it's way less than 5%. I think it's closer to 1 to 2% of people abuse the food stamp programs, and, well, they should be punished, and if they have anything of value when they are caught, it should be taken and sold and given back to the food stamp program. I'm sorry if you're driving like a $50,000 car and you're on food stamps. There's certain priorities. It's like some people say, well, you shouldn't have to sell your $50,000 car. If I'm on food stamps, I'm in a really bad place, and I'm going to need that money. So I'll sell that for a really good used car that's probably, worth $5,000 to $10,000. I'm sorry, I'm not necessarily saying sell your, $500,000 home, but there are some things that you should be doing to make it qualified and stuff like that. If you got children, you should have proof that you do have children, not just say, well, I've got this child, this child, this child, and then getting like, $400 or $500 or more a month in food stamps for like 1 or 2 people. They do have rules in place. If you sell your food stamps and caught selling your food stamps, they take it away for 6 months to a year, and then they get more. If you do it again, they disqualify you even more after that. So there are some rules, but you have to change it up and stuff. But yeah, I'm for it for the most part and stuff like that. But they need to be checking things out. And last but not least, I will say education. Well, maybe not last but least, but one of the last ones here. Education. This is a big one, and very polarized on both sides on this one. And just a second. Okay, I'm back. Someone let the dogs out. Okay, education. Polarized. I'm for generalized paying of education and some forgiveness on education, loans and stuff like that. Not everything. It's crazy. As far as education goes, I'm 100% for up to an associate's degree. I'm 100% for paying for that if it's in a job-related field, not something like women's studies or the stupid things that you see, philosophy and stuff like that. Guess what? If you got 10,000 people going into that, and there's like 5 jobs, really should not be paid for. There are certain things that I'm definitely for, even going further as far as possibly a bachelor's degree up to free education. If you're going into medical field, big one. They got some trade schools that's not college oriented that they actually, it's affordable for people to go through the trade schools. So I'm totally for that. But school, if you can't keep above a 2.0 or 2.5 GPA after like say 2 or 3 terms, you should be out. When I was in school, they had people there that was like 5-6 terms. They couldn't even get a 2.0 on their GPA. Why are they still getting loans? I don't even understand how they're able to do that. Why would they keep giving that? Like I said, I am okay with education, paid education up to a certain level, but no. That's it. Okay, education still. Yes, there's certain high things that are needed out there. High brain fart. Industrial groups that need it, jobs and stuff that are needed out there. Certain computer jobs, certain engineering jobs, there is a need for it. But there should be a limit on how many people actually go to that. You should be able to pass certain exams, stuff like that, to go, okay, you qualify for going into this program. But, if there's only 1,000 jobs and 10,000 people are going in for the education of it, it's ridiculous to pay for all those people for that education. It's ridiculous. But the ones that qualify, then we should be able to give them a boost, because down the line, instead of them paying off a student loan for the rest of their frickin' lives, they can actually be, putting tax money into our coffers that everybody benefits from. I don't see the problem with that. Again, I don't, there's multiple programs out there. I'm sitting there like, no. And yes, I did mention women's studies, but there's multiple other things out there, so like that. Like one I went into that's basically pointless anymore is I was going into photojournalism. It's no longer a viable job source, but at the time it was, and I was really good at it and stuff like that. So I was qualifying for a lot of different things and stuff at that time. So I did it. But shortly after I graduated with my photojournalism type of degree, it went south, and well, an education, 4-year education went south with it. But yeah, that's my idea on education, and like, again, just my thoughts on it. It's like the high density jobs. Okay, let's pay for the education to a certain level. If you want to go into a field that doesn't have the job opportunity for it, you're going to pay for it. You have, I'd say, say like 3 terms, which is like 1 year. You get that paid for, right off the bat. If you can't get above a 2.0, sorry, you're cut off at that point. Sorry, you're not doing it. You're not going to be the best at your job if you actually do get a job. So, okay, that's that. Let's see. I think there was one other thing. Oh, like Social Security and everything like that. That is not really a social program, because everybody's been paying into it. Even people that, that paid in it for, 30 years, even 40 years, and never got to experience any of it and stuff like that. That money's still in there. It's not the government's money. It's all of our money. We paid for it. I paid into it for, good 20 years of working. Maybe a little more than that, but roughly about 20 plus years of working and stuff like that. My taxes went to it and everything like that. Everybody else's taxes go to it, and it's ours. The government should basically get out of it and start paying back that $1 trillion+ that they borrowed from it, and stop talking about, oh, we're going to get rid of it, or we're going to, give you less and stuff like that. It's not up to them to be able to do that one way or another. It's not theirs to be able to decide that kind of bullshit. So, no. Okay, well, that's my 18 minutes today on different things and stuff like that, as far as social programs go with Americans and stuff. You may agree with me, you may not. You can, post it in here if you like it or not. Okay, talk to you later. Peace out.